Definitely more comparable to the pyrite because the Saxy, because of I actually got the green micarta with the black blade at some point, compared the two, and decided to keep this guy because I just like the aesthetics, the looks of this one, just a little bit more than the other one. And I gotta tell you, for that price, that's Civivi Elementum price and a few other, sweet $50 EDC knives, this guy has a lot to offer for the money. What is going on, guys? It's your boy Miguel here. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Miguel and you're watching Miguel EDC, where we touch everything EDC here. Today we're gonna be looking at the Sencut Crowley. This guy right here, this is a Sencut knife, a subsidiary of WeKnife and Civivi. So I am super excited to share with you guys this review today. I've been EDCing this guy nonstop over the last couple of weeks, and I just can't wait to share with you guys everything there is to know. At the very least, all my impressions, all the feedback that I've been able to gather with this knife over the last couple of weeks or so. I did an unboxing on the channel. If you haven't seen that already and want to check that out, I'll put a link in the description for that as well. You can search for it. But without further ado, what do we got going on with this guy, right? Let's do a quick length measurement here on this guy. Let's see. So this is going to be a little bit of a medium to larger knife. I want to say this guy comes in, yeah, exactly 8 inches overall length. Total of 8 inches right there. The blade is going to be around 3.5, the cutting edge being around 3 3/8, right? And the handle is going to be around 4.5 total length right there. So those are your basic measurements, right? We have a D2 blade on this guy, right? Got a D2 stonewash blade going on. We got the Sencut logo right there on one end. It does say D2 right there on typical Civivi WeKnife Sencut fashion. It is a stonewash finish, and the blade shape, this is a sort of like a clip point, drop point, very similar to the Reich P801, right? Check that out for a second, right? If that isn't pretty much the same blade shape, I don't know what is. So take a look at that. Also very comparable blade shape to the, I want to say, CJRB Pyrite. By the way, the reviews on both of these guys is live in the channel. So if you haven't checked that out, go ahead and check those videos next. The Reich P801 and the CJRB Pyrite. Got this guy in black micarta. There is a version with green micarta as well. There's a green natural jade version also, but I like mine with the black, right? So I like this aesthetics right here. I actually got the green micarta with the black blade at some point, compare the two, and decided to keep this guy because I just like the aesthetics, the looks of this one, just a little bit more than the other one. What do we got going on for deployments on this guy? Well, it is a button lock, and it is one of the most fidgety button locks out there. We're going to get into that later in the video, right? But yeah, you got button deployment, right? It is a button lock after all. You got the flipper, right? So yeah, you can definitely open it just like any flipper, right? Which is very nice. Thumb deployment as well, right? Look at that. You could thumb deploy it with your eyes closed, of course, with some practice. And even though it's a little bit challenging, right, you can also reverse flick. Just don't do it this way. Just put your finger on the thumb stud and then like that, right? So it kind of took me a little bit of mastering it, but yeah, you can certainly do the reverse flick on this guy, no problem. Oh, you can feel it from time to time, there you go. But yeah, practice makes perfect. So it makes an awesome EDC. All right, let's do some quick comparisons here next to the Paramilitary 2. All right, check that out, right? The Paramilitary 2 is gonna be probably slighter longer knife, whereas the Para 3 is going to be a smaller. So this one sits somewhere in the middle, but a lot closer to the Para 2 or PM2 than it is to the Para 3. You guys be the judge of that right there, of course, right? That kind of gives you an idea right there. Let's toss in the Spider Coast Mock since we're here, right? Check that out. All right, probably around the same length. And I want to say this Mock is a long knife, right? But it's probably about the same length, right, as the Crowley right there. Next to the Demco 80 20.5 siblings here, that is the shark's foot blade. This one is the clip point. This one is the clip point blade right there, right? You guys be the judge of that. The Crowley is going to be a longer knife right there. I want to say the cutting edge is also going to be a much longer cutting edge even than the clip point blade on the Demco 80 20.5. So something to keep in mind there as well. Here it is next to the brother here, the Sencut Saxy, also from Sencut, of course. And let's throw in the CJRB once again, right, just for some quick comparisons. Typically I use the Saxy and the Crowley as some standard comparison knives in the channel. You've probably seen them before, but yeah, definitely a little bit longer than the Saxy and much longer than the Pyrite, no doubt about that. And last but not least, here's the Wrap Model 1 and here is the Wrap Model 2. Right, so I want to say if there's any knife that's going to come close to the Wrap Model 1 and how insanely large it is, is probably going to be the Crowley right there, right? The Crowley is definitely much closer to the Rat Model 1 than it is to the Rat Model 2, as you can clearly see right there. But yeah, that's just to say that the Rat Model 1 is it's a huge knife, no doubt about that. But again, just some popular knives for some quick comparison, of course, just giving you an idea, right? Since we're here, let's do a quick carry profile here against the Rat Model 2. So it's going to be a little bit thicker than the Rat Model 2. All right, might be comparable to the Rat Model 1, although I think the Rat Model 1 is just a hair thicker. Compared to the brother here, the Saxy, they might be just about the same, right? Saxy and Crowley right there. Crowley on the left, Saxy on the right. Yeah, very comparable. The Demco 80 20.5, regardless of blade, is yeah, typically going to be a much slimmer knife. No doubt about that. Here's the Spyderco Smock, right? A little bit slimmer than the Crowley. The Para 3, right? Also a hair slimmer, the Para 3. And last but not least, here is the PM2, right? Very comparable to the PM2, although it does look a little bit thicker than the PM2. Next to the Reich P801, yeah, the Reich is going to be a much slimmer knife, no doubt about that. And in case you're wondering, right here it is next to the Pyrite, right? Still wider than the Pyrite, as you can clearly see. So what does it look like when it's folded, right? What does it look like in your pocket? Well, here is the Para 3 and the PM2, and both of these obviously are going to be much wider knives in the pocket because of the Spidey hole. And I want to say, yeah, lengthwise, the PM2 is going to be a little bit longer. The Para 3 might be the most comparable one as far as length, but both of these are going to be quite wider. If I substitute the Spyderco Smock in here for comparison purposes, yeah, it's very, very similar to the Crowley there, as you can see, about the thickness, the width of it right there. Next to the Demco brothers, there you go, quick glance. The Demco knives are obviously going to be a little bit thicker right there because of how much the blade sticks out from the handle, even when folded, right? They're going to be a little bit wider, no doubt about that. Next to the Saxy and the Pyrite, yep, definitely more comparable to the Pyrite because the Saxy, because of definitely more comparable to the Pyrite than the Saxy. The Saxy is going to be wider because of the blade shape right there, right? Being a much wider blade, but you guys be the judge of that. And again, this is just to give you all an idea. And last but not least, Rat Model 1 and Rat Model 2. Very close to the Rat Model 2, whereas the Rat Model 1 is going to be a thicker beast in a whole different category right there. So how's the action on this guy? Of course, it's going to be amazing action. This guy is on ball bearings, and the action there is going to be very, very sweet. Look at that blade drop, right? It's very drop shotty. Look at this. It's very drop shotty.
Say what?
It's very drop chuddy. Chuddy. Drop shotty, look at this, right? Pretty much all on its own. If you give it just a little bit of flick of the wrist, boom, look at that, right? It is very, very fidgety, to say the least, no doubt about that. I've been EDCing this guy for a while now, a long time. You've probably seen it on other review videos. It is one of the knives that I compare other knives to. We have a deep pocket carry clip here with recessed screws. So that's very, very nice right there. For comparison purposes, I'm going to show you guys what the opposite of recessed screws look like. If you see the screws on the pocket clip right there, those are not recessed, versus the Crowley right there. You barely see the screw head. That's how recessed they are. Right. That being said, when the knife is in your pocket, because of how deep carry this clip is, you don't see pretty much any of the knife at all, right? I've been EDCing this guy for a long time now. Check out the blade alignment. It is dead center, right? That blade has not moved one bit, right? I'll put my hand here for contrast. There you go. All right, you guys be the judge of that. All right, while we're here, let's do a quick hardware check. By the way, guys, the tools that I use are linked down below. These are very highly recommendable tools, so if you want to check them out, use the links below. They do help out the channel at no extra cost to you. I'm going to take a quick guess here. I want to say in typical Civivi / Wee knife / Sencut fashion, it's probably going to be a T6 and T8 combination, right? So let's start with T6. So as far as the pocket clip goes, all right, those are going to be T6 right there. Try and give you guys a good view. All right, so for the frame here, which I'm actually very surprised, it looks like it's going to be a T8. So yes, look at that. They have done it right. It is T8 on the body screws, including the pivot, right? That pivot is going to be T8, right, on both sides. You do have a pivot screw on both ends, right? Keep that in mind. You might need 2 screwdrivers, 1 on each end if you want to tighten or loosen this guy. And yes, also on the body screws, right? You got T8 all around, except for the pocket clip, which we said is T6. Let's also get a blade stock thickness on this guy. On the thickest portion, this guy is going to come in at 0.11 inches, which is pretty standard. A lot of knives that we review on the channel come in around that much, 0.11 inches, right? At the very tip, right? Probably wondering what is it like at the very tip, and that's going to be 0.02. Very pointy front end, to say the least, right? So hopefully that gives you an idea. And by the way, yeah, that blade is not going anywhere. That is like a 9.9 out of 10 right there, right? Almost a 10 out of 10, but I want to say, yeah, 9.9, right? It's kind of like how hand sanitizer says that they kill 99.999% of bacteria. That is this guy right here. That is not going anywhere at all. As far as the inside here, we have some milled liners, right? Those liners are milled, as you can see right there. Right? We got some good lighting going on, so it helps you get a clear view, and that should help with the weight, right? So the weight should be pretty good on this guy. Since we're here, let's do a quick weight check. For a quick comparison, here's the Sencut Crowley. That guy's coming in at 3.6 ounces, right? Let's toss in there the pyrite. Obviously this guy's going to be all metal, and that's coming in at 3.6. So look at that. 3.6, even though we got micarta on one versus all metal on the other one. Where does the Sencut Crowley slide in? Well, let's find out. Here we go. Right, 3.3, so even lighter than both the pyrite and the Saxy. So let's talk, what has it been like EDC in this guy for the last couple of months? I gotta tell you, this guy is an awesome EDC. So the price, guys, check out the descriptions down below, right? Their affiliate links to help out the channel at no extra cost to you. This guy comes in at around $45 to $50, somewhere in that range. And I gotta tell you, for that price, that's the Vivi Elementum price and a few other, sweet $50 EDC knives. This guy has a lot to offer for the money. First of all, it is a button lock, right? So unlike many other knives, which are simply, thumb deployment or simply flipper deployment, this guy has everything. You got 4 different deployment options right there at your disposal. Let's recap those really quick. You got the flipper, right? You got the button deployment, thumb stud, and the reverse flick as well. So as far as fidgetability, right, that's your word for the day, this guy has everything covered right there in every single front. So that is definitely something going for it. As far as the cutting, I mean, this guy is a very solid cutter. We're going to be doing the paper cutting test here in just a little bit so you guys can see. And I mean, the ergos are just beautiful, right? So it has sort of these 2 curves right here, right on the handle. So your index and middle finger will sort of fall naturally on that first curve, and your ring finger and pinky will fall on the second curve. And as far as the ergos go, like, this guy has got it all figured out right there. Forward cuts and reverse cuts, right? Look at that, all day, every day, no doubt about that. I want to say the button sits kind of high here, right? So I wouldn't, I mean, unless you intentionally hit the button, it shouldn't be accidentally pressed at any time, right? So you should be all right with that. There's some jimping going on at the top here, which is nice and convenient, right? If you're trying to use some thumb support right there for your cut, depending on what you're cutting, right, that should be very beneficial. There is no lanyard hole on this guy, right? So no lanyard hole on this guy. I'm sure you could make one of your own if you really wanted one, but it doesn't come with one from the factory. That's something to keep in mind there if you're into that. It sort of has, maybe I spoke too soon. It doesn't have a hole per se, but it does have this extra spacer here. So if you wanted to kind of loop something around that, you could. As far as the other spacers right there, they're nice and meaty and thick, right? So they get the job done. And the skinny one right here is for you to hope, maybe loop something around, get your lanyard going that way if you want to do that. But I mean, this guy is just an awesome EDC, no doubt about that. So as far as blade, what do we have? It is a stonewashed blade. Once again, it is a drop point blade right here. It is a D2, guys. So as far as budget goes, right, D2, you can't go wrong with it. Are there better steels out there? Yes, there are. But for the price, I mean, you're not really paying all that much, right? Typically for other steels, you will end up paying a lot more money. D2 is a rock solid budget option for this price range, right? So you really can't go wrong with it in any way, shape, or form. The blade is a stonewashed, so it actually helps a lot with any marks or scratches or anything like that that your blade may get over time after being used, right, constantly. A stonewash finish is going to help hide a lot of those streaks and marks and scratches. So definitely makes this blade very nice being that way. This is also a flat grind. You can see there's a flat grind going on all the way from the very top right here all the way down to the cutting edge. You can kind of sort of see that right here as well. So flat grind all the way around. The handles are mic micarta handles. And I mean, I would prefer G10, me personally. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of micarta. You know, they kind of give you the worn jeans sort of aesthetics feel to it. I would have liked this guy in an all metal, you know, stainless steel handle sort of finish. Maybe there are some aftermarket scales for this guy, which I'd definitely love to look into. But yeah, I would have preferred G10 over micarta. That's just personal preference. You know, the micarta gets the job done, right? It's nice and grippy. Shouldn't be slippery in any way, shape, or form. I said this earlier, guys, but I'll say it again. The ball bearings on this guy are solid, right? So it is very drop chuddy right here. As you can see, it definitely opens, deploys, closes over and over and over again. The action on this guy is very duplicative. Duplicative, is that a word? I guess. The action on this guy is very, very consistent. Again, even after some hardcore use, it still deploys and closes, opens and closes as if it was the first day. Now, of course, you have to do the good old-fashioned paper cutting test, right? It wouldn't be a review video if we didn't do a paper cutting test. So here we go. Without further ado, guys, rate it in the comments, right? On a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the sharpest. How sharp is this guy? How much of an edge has this guy retained? Here we go. All right, nice first cut right there. All right, nice second cut. Wow. All right. Boom. Wow. Let's say this guy has definitely retained an edge. No doubt about that. Look at that. A little bit of a tear there, depends on how the paper catches, but look at that. So there you have it, guys. This is again a great budget knife, under $50. Very, very fidgety at that. So if you're looking for that fidget factor, this guy checks so many boxes I can't even begin to explain. I'm trying not to be biased here. Obviously, this is my own knife. I paid for it with my own money, and so this is money well spent. In my opinion, I'm so happy, so satisfied with this guy, right? For the money that I paid, for the type of work that I have been able to do with it, for the fidgetability on it. I mean, this is a very solid EDC. It doesn't get better than that. So it is a little bit on the larger side, so check your local laws on that. Make sure, you know, it does kind of fit in with your local laws as far as the blade length and things like that. I'm not a lawyer, so check your local laws there. But I mean, do I recommend this guy if you're considering getting a fidgety EDC? This guy is up there. I plan to do a video in the future for top fidgetably. I plan to do a video in the future for top most fidgety knives, and this guy is definitely going to be on that video. Spoiler alert, that is how good this guy is, no doubt about that. So if you guys made it this far, right, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything. Was there anything that you were thinking about specifically, or any specific question that you would like answered that perhaps I didn't answer for you in the video? Please let me know in the comments. You guys are the real MVPs if you made it this far. By the way, guys, by the time you're watching this video, it is very possible that the Saxy, right, the brother to the Crowley here, the Sencut Saxy, the review for this guy will be live in the channel. If that's the case, I'm going to put a card right here for you guys to check that out. Thank you so much, guys, for making it all the way to the end. Love you guys. Take care. Peace.